Okay, I just did a really long video on this, which went into a load of detail, but I want to keep it short for Facebook. So, can you build muscle and lose fat simultaneously? That's kind of the dream, it's what everyone wants. And it's come up a few times because we've been speaking about the scale and when the scale might be wrong or misleading. And I was saying the scale's not wrong, but it can be misleading. And this is one example where it can be very misleading, because if you're both losing fat and building muscle, the scale might not show much change, but you are improving. You are losing fat, which, if that's the goal, is great progress. So when does this occur? And it can occur, but way less than what people think. It's sort of a go-to for trainers who maybe their client isn't losing weight, and they say, oh, you'll be building fat at the same time, and you'll be building muscle at the same time. It does happen, but probably not to the extent that people make out, and it's also normally very short-lived. So there's two key scenarios where it does happen. One I'm not really going to touch on is when you're returning from injury, or you've had a sort of layoff from the gym. Say you were in shape before and then you're coming back to the gym and you tend to get results really quickly. Part of that's probably physiological, but part of it, like muscle memory, but part of it is probably that you also know how to get in shape because you've been in shape before. The other example is when you're new to dieting and you've got quite a lot of excess body fat to lose. So why these 2 points are key is that when you have a lot of excess body fat, your fat cells tend to be full. This means they don't want to take in any more nutrients, and we know that because people who carry a lot of body fat tend to also have hypoglycemia, so high blood sugar levels, because the carbohydrates in their blood can't be pulled into the fat because it's full. So you've got a case where the fat cells are like, we can't take in any more nutrients, and then you're exercising as well. So you're new to exercise, so this new stimulation of the muscle that does want nutrients, some of the excess from fat stores that can't be stored in fat stores can go to the muscle. And that muscle will be extremely sensitive, quite easy to stimulate because you're new to exercise, it's all very new to your body and your muscle. And the nutrients will be brought in for growth, repair and storage. So you're sort of in this like perfect storm for simultaneously building muscle and losing fat. However, the downside is this is quite short-lived, as you could probably imagine. If you are successful in your diet, that means your body fat levels are going to start coming down. So you no longer have this sort of drive from them to push away nutrients. They're now quite happy to take them in again. And at the same time, your muscles will become used to the exercise that you're doing, so they're not going to be as easily stimulated. You're going to need to exercise more to keep that stimulation up, and yeah, they're sort of less responsive. You don't get the same initial newbie gains that you were getting at the start because now you're a more experienced exerciser. So as an estimate, I'd probably say this is this sort of honeymoon period where you can both build fat and why do I keep saying it wrong? Build muscle and lose fat. Will only last maybe a few weeks, possibly a few months. After that, I'd say that even quite moderate rates of fat loss are still going to far outweigh, in terms of the scale, high rates of muscle building potential. So if we look at an example, if you're looking at losing 1 kilogram of fat a week, which is quite good fat loss, that's 4 kilograms a month. If you think you can put on 4 kilograms of lean muscle mass in a month and you're not sort of new to exercise, you're probably not doing it naturally. It's quite unattainable, especially if, like I was saying, you're not new to exercise. So the rate of fat loss is going to far outweigh the rate that you can build muscle. Unfortunately, so sorry about that, guys. Is what it is.